I'm back! Hi guys, it's Tuesday. Once again, I'm ready for Mission Otaku. Alright, let me first apologize for not being on for the last 2 weeks. What happened was, I went to No Brand and Adam ended up getting sick. And so I had to take care of him after the con, and then I got sick and my voice sucks, and then we went to ASIN and I lost it completely, and it still sucks, but I'm back now. So yeah, this is gonna be short because my voice might not last too long, but I am back for you guys, and thanks for your patience with me. Alright, timeline Otaku. Okay, this should be really interesting because you'll find out why. Alright, first I started out a lot like Brittany did. My brother got me into wanted to watch Power Rangers forever. I hated it, but he was the point where it's like, he cried if he couldn't watch Power Rangers, so I'd put up with it. And I got into watching it after a while. I own the Power Ranger movie. I own quite a bit of Power Rangers stuff still. It's because of him. He wanted me to, although I had to play the Pink Ranger all the time. So, but I never really associated with that Japanese at all style, because the American style is pretty Americanized. It's never really Japanese style, so I never really even realized it was anime or anything like that. Then, when I turned 13, my dad got us into Pokemon. He went to a gaming convention. Yeah, my dad's been a Otaku gamer, or at least a gamer forever, and he went to gaming conventions. And so he went to one, and he brought back Pokemon cards. He's like, oh, hey guys, this is your souvenir. All these kids were really big on these Pokemon cards, so here's a deck of Pokemon cards. And although my dad regretted that later because we got hooked, line, and sinker on Pokemon. Me and my brother had all the cards and everything. Although we never seen the series because we didn't own WB. That's all for a long time. Back when I was a kid, that's all I ever showed was WB. We did have the movies, so we had all the movies. I still watch the movies. Anyway, so I got hooked on Pokemon, but I never, like I said, I never considered it a Japanese thing. So I didn't want to admit that I was into that kind of stuff because at the time, Brittany was just starting to get into it. I didn't think it was that, and I didn't find it popular enough in high school, so I didn't really want to admit that I was into it. And so we got into high school. I'd sit here and watch Brittany. If you watched Brittany's video, she started getting into it in high school and all that. And they were, me and my friends, her and Nikki and Shayna would all sit around and talk about Pokemon, have their Yu-Gi-Oh figurines. Brittany, do you remember Yu-Gi-Fi or Potato-Fying Kaiba? I remember something about that. Potatoes and Kaiba. But anyway, I'd sit there in lunchtime and they'd playing with her, talking about the anime, talking about Inuyasha and all that, and it's like, I disassociated myself with it because I didn't think it was cool at the time. I was one of those girls who was like, oh, I want to fit in, so I'm not going to do anything uncool. So I basically, even though I was interested in it, I stayed away from it completely, even though I was surrounded by otakuism everywhere with my friends. It wasn't until my sophomore year of college that I started to show interest again in it because I ended up rooming with Shayna, one of our friends, and she had Inuyasha on her wall. She had all the manga, the anime, and Brittany was living up in the area at the time. We were both living up in Midgey at the time, and she'd come over and watch anime and all that. And I'm like, well, I was still trying to dissociate myself with it, but I look at things on her walls, and I was like, I'd sit in her bed and look at the show, and I'm like, he looks so pretty, or this looks really cool. Maybe. I don't really want to associate with it, you know? And it wasn't until this year after, in 2007, when 2006, Brittany, I know you're going to correct me on this because I'm not sure. No, I think it was 2006. I'd moved to Wisconsin because my ex was living over there, and I started to get in Wausau. It's a very big Hmong community, and so there's a lot of anime influence. It's nice to like, okay, look, let's start looking into this. This looks kind of cool. I've been hearing about these manga, so Brittany mentioned this. I had Master, so I've got a library nearby. What's a good manga to start reading? It looks kind of interesting. And she's like, Inuyasha. So I start reading Inuyasha. I get into that. I start watching the anime. I start reading, and I started hearing about Fruits Basket. I start reading Fruits Basket. I watch the anime of that. I start getting into Full Metal Panic Fumufuo, because I've heard about that forever. I watch that. By this time, I'm really getting into it. I am really getting interested. I'm watching it on Adult Swim every night, and I'm even getting my ex into it a little bit. He's getting into some of the things, and I'm starting to admit that I'm really enjoying this. I wasn't really fully myself as otaku, but it was a start. And until the summer that I moved in with Brittany. I was needing a place to stay. I couldn't, at this point it was easier to stay with my friends than stay at home because I needed a job, and Brittany officiated me into being otaku with my first con. Icon 2007 up in Winnipeg, Canada. We drove up to see Vic Mignogna after watching the full series of Full Metal Alchemist. Yep, that was my otaku start. That's what's did it in. And that next year when I started in college, I moved back over to Wausau after breaking up with my ex, and ended up starting college. And my first semester in college, I started an anime club. Had an anime club for 2 years. Started going to conventions, No Brand, Daishokan. And I met my boyfriend at a convention, and now I'm working at a convention. I'm full otaku, and I'm with you guys on Mission Otaku. So, yep, that's my little timeline. That's my story of how I became an otaku. It was a rough start. I was denying my inner otaku for quite a while, if you guys didn't figure that out. But I'm here with you guys, and I'm officially, I can 100% admit, I'm an otaku. Anyway, I should stop talking because my starting to lose my voice, and I look forward to seeing how you guys else became otaku. Next tomorrow, followed by AJ and Noah. I look forward to hearing your stories. Bye, guys!